Dryopithecus. Humans started evolving a long time ago, around 12.5 to 11.1 million years ago. They started from Dryopithecus, the distant relatives of modern gibbons, showing off their cool moves with an upright posture and swinging through the trees. It's believed that they are distant cousins of today's apes and humans. Dryopithecus probably weighed around 44 pounds when they were alive. They mostly munched unripe fruits, maybe reaching for them by hanging around the trees. But their arms and leg bones say they also spent time walking on all fours. Their face looked a bit like a gorilla, and they had longer pointy teeth, which usually means they were a bit aggressive. They enjoyed a climate with changing seasons and might have stored up some extra fat for winter. In 1856, people found their first fossils in France. Later, they found more of these fossils in China, East Africa, and Europe. Finding Dryopithecus was a big deal because it helped us learn a lot about how humans evolved from earlier species. It's a key puzzle piece in understanding our family tree. Ramapithecus. Ramapithecus is another group of old, extinct relatives of humans. They lived about 14 to 9 million years ago. The first fossil was found in 1932 by G.E. Lewis in the Siwalik Hills of North India. After that, they discovered more in Saudi Arabia and Africa. At first, people thought Ramapithecus could be one of our ancestors because of teeth and jawbone fossils. But later studies changed the idea. Now we think Ramapithecus is more like a cousin to modern orangutans than our early human relatives. Although Ramapithecus isn't our direct ancestor, studying it has helped us learn a lot about how primates evolved and the different paths hominoids took. Australopithecus. They are a group of small-bodied and small-brained human-like beings that lived in Africa. They might have had tiny brains, but hey, they were the cool ones of the Pliocene and Pleistocene time. They were 4 feet tall and weighed 60 to 80 pounds. Back in 1924, workers in Tong, South Africa, stumbled upon the first Australopithecus fossil. The most famous in this group is Australopithecus afarensis, and we know her by the name Lucy. Australopithecus were special because they walked on 2 legs, a big deal in our evolution. With features like a mix of apes and humans and small brains, they were like a middle point between apes and early humans. Studying Australopithecus is like looking at a family photo album for human evolution. They help us understand how we went from apes to early humans and give us clues about our family history. Homo Habilis. They are also called a handyman. They got the name because they were rock stars at turning stones into tools for all sorts of jobs. They were around from about 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago, during the early Pleistocene time. They were one of the earliest Homo genus members. They were first spotted in 1959. In Tanzania's Olduvai Gorge, Lewis and Mary Leakey's team dug up 2 teeth, starting the discovery journey. They were the brainiacs of early humans, with bigger brains suggesting smarter thinking. They probably ate a mix of things, not just plants. Also, their way of walking shows they were on the way to being more like us and less like apes. Homo Erectus. Homo Erectus were like our early family because they had human-like features, like short hands and long legs. They stood tall and walked on 2 legs, making them good walkers, and not needing to live in trees as much. They found the first Homo erectus fossil in Java in 1891, calling it Pithecanthropus erectus. People thought it was a missing link between humans and apes. In China, they found another group called the Peking Man. These guys had big brains and likely lived together in communities. Homo erectus used tools made of quartz, bones, and wood. They even hunted together and used fire. These early humans probably lived in caves. Homo Cepranensis. In 1994, while digging for a highway in Campo Grande, Italy, they found a part of an ancient human skull. Even though a bulldozer damaged it, Clark and later M.A. de Lume and Milegny did a fancy work on the skull. They moved things around, removed extra stuff, and added missing parts. In 2017, D.I. Vincenzo and team did a virtual reconstruction, removing any plaster and glue and fixing misplaced parts. They corrected issues in the skull's shape, making it look more normal. Archaeologist Italo Biditu recognized and described it. Some experts suggested a new human species called Homo Cepranensis, based on this find, thinking it's about 700,000 years old. Homo Sapiens Neanderthalensis. Neanderthals, also known as Homo Sapiens Neanderthalensis, were like our ancient relatives who lived in Eurasia from about 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. The first time we discovered one of them was in 1856 in Neander Valley, Germany, where they found a partial skeleton of this male species. Neanderthals were tough cookies, built to handle the cold. They looked a bit like us, with familiar faces and brains. They knew how to hunt, make tools out of stones, and even dabbled in art. Some evidence hints they mixed genes with early Homo sapiens. This was a high state of ancient family mingling. That's why some people today outside Africa have a hint of Neanderthal in their DNA. Homo Heidelbergensis. Homo Heidelbergensis is the family member who came after Homo Erectus in Africa. It's like a cool uncle or aunt that's in the family tree between us modern humans and Neanderthals. They lived a bit later than the split between us and Neanderthals. In the past, they had brains and sizes similar to us, but they were also sturdy, with broad chests. They were the in-between ones in our family history. During the Middle Pleistocene in Africa and Europe, things got interesting. People started using fancier tools that were different from what earlier H. erectus used, showing that humans were gradually getting smarter. Around 400,000 years ago, fire became a regular part of life, and this coincided with more people living in Europe. They also figured out how to put handles on spears. H. Heidelbergensis might have been good at team hunting and really liked meat. They stepped up their game in survival strategies. Homo Floresiensis. These are the hobbit of the human family. Homo Floresiensis, who lived around 190,000 to 50,000 years ago. They got their nickname because they were tiny, maybe due to living on an island. These guys are interesting because, even though they share an ancestor with us, they went on their own unique evolutionary path. The main discovery was a skeleton of a woman about 30 years ago, dated to around 18,000 years ago. She was just a meter tall with a brain smaller than a chimpanzee's. There is a debate about whether H. Floresiensis is a different species. Some say they were just tiny modern humans with a growth problem, especially because there are a lot of small people on the same island. Others say no way, because H. Floresiensis was found with tools linked to modern humans. But here's the thing. Their tiny size and other body parts of H. Floresiensis just doesn't match up with the modern humans. Plus, they found more than one of them, showing it wasn't just one person being small. Homo Sapiens. Homo Sapiens are the wise man. We started our journey around 550,000 to 750,000 years ago. The oldest fossil of us was found in Morocco, around 315,000 years old. We were very special. We could walk on two legs, making us good at long-distance travel. Not only that, but this new branch of humans were also very smart, had complex societies, and knew their way around making really helpful tools. Thanks to all this, we've rocked the world with amazing progress in technology, art, science, and culture. We didn't stop there. Homo sapiens also created different cultures, languages, and could think about abstract ideas. As time passed, they transformed the world by doing things like farming, building industries, and creating civilizations. Now they're the big shots, the most powerful force on Earth today. Today, the only homogeneous species still around is us, modern humans. We don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.